Just before I get into this video, I wanted to apologise for way back when I originally got this Drew McIntyre in the mail, and I played a clip and a lot of people complained about the volume level in that clip. I just wanted to apologise for that. I'm sorry you guys didn't like that, and for those of you who are wondering what clip it was, here it is now.
Oh, Drew McIntyre arrived in the mail! Drew McIntyre. It's here!
Hey guys, welcome to the DSW Network Clash at the Castle special. We are celebrating the first major British stadium WWE pay-per-view in 30 years, SummerSlam 1992 being the last one. And if I'd realised that that was 30 years ago the other day before I saw AOPW's post about it really late on at night, I would have done an NWOpening special on the Bret Hart I recently picked up, but never mind, we'll see him some other day. Clash at the Castle is also the first British pay-per-view full stop since Insurrection 2003, so it felt like it was worth celebrating. I was personally interested in going, as I think a lot of people were, until they saw the price of tickets and travel plans and stuff, and then I was very quickly out. And to be honest, it might be a pretty good show. You know, a lot of things have changed since the tickets came out for those. But anyway, the way we're going to celebrate Clash at the Castle here is by cracking open our boy Elite 89 Drew McIntyre. I've been meaning to open this figure since I got it because, you know, it's just in such a messy state. Look at the actual mess that this is. And when did I get it? Like, what, February? February time, I think. Early February I got this. And it's still just here, still not open, so I guess now comes the time. And if you're wondering why the box is so messed up, it's because I originally ordered this on Amazon Warehouse. That's where you get all the damaged box figures and so on, and returns and stuff that are unsellable on the main Amazon thing, but you can get pretty sweet deals on them sometimes. I think this was £14, so that's not too bad. And way back when in 2018, when I first started collecting figures again, I got this Kamala the Ugandan Giant boxed for £9.60. So that was pretty sweet. And I do wonder if sometimes when you see people on Instagram like, Amazon sent me this figure all messed up in the box, I kind of wonder if they actually ordered it off Amazon Warehouse without realising, because those purchase options still show, so if they saw a sweet deal, they might have bought it. That being said, you usually get a big green Amazon Warehouse sticker on it, and well, won't that be the next thing they complain about? Why is it Amazon sticking a big green sticker on my figure that absolutely could not stay mint on card if I even wanted it to? Because it's just an absolute mess already without the sticker on it. Anyway, yes, this is Elite 89 Drew McIntyre. It's an absolutely beautiful figure. Of course, it's just been reissued as a Top Picks figure. And if you ask me, in my personal opinion, one of very few Top Picks figures that actually deserves reissuing. And it's a very, very gorgeous figure. This is the only Drew McIntyre Elite I really wanted, because I didn't really feel like I needed one for what I used Drew McIntyre for in my figure fed. But this figure is just completely gorgeous. You know, somewhere along the line, I've ended up with 3 Elite Drew McIntyres. I mean, I kind of always wanted the younger Drew McIntyre look from my figure fed, which is why I picked this up off eBay eventually. Then my lovely lady friend picked up this one for me for Christmas, which was very, very nice of her. But I just couldn't resist picking up this one as well when that came out, because it's just such a good figure. And the irony of the 3 McIntyres is, like I say, I kind of just need my Drew McIntyre basic that I've always been using for my figure fed, because he's just in Heath and Drew segments more or less. And to be quite honest, when it comes to Heath and Drew, a lot of those segments are in the hot tub, which is already filmed. It's just 3 frames I've already filmed. So yeah, it's ironic, but yeah, we got 4 Drew McIntyres, and yeah, we'll see how many of them get used for whatever use. At least they all have kind of different looks to them, I suppose. But yeah, anyway, what I could do with is a spare head of this to put on this, because I don't even want to take the head off this figure. I'm now just emotionally attached to this basic. I've had it for so long. So without any more waffle, it's time to finally get him out of this very damaged plastic prison that he finds himself in. So what I'm going to do here, because it's just so wrecked at the top, is I'm just going to go in through the top for once. And I've literally just all the damage there is to the box already, and I've literally just cut through the cardboard rather than the tape. Alright, awesome. So first of all, we've got the cardboard background there. kind of interesting to look at. It's kind of interesting, but I mean, it has been warped in the box damage, so that's a bit of a shame. And then obviously we've got the figure here, so let's just pop him out. So here we are looking at the figure, and let's go into 2x zoom and talk about this head scan. This head is spot on. It looks fantastic. It's incredible, and I couldn't say enough good words about this head. I think it's spot on. I think it's Drew's best head. I think there's a lot of kind of iffy ones and kind of pointless ones, and I think there are a few good ones, but I think this is hands down the best one. I think this is the best Drew Elite altogether, and most of that reason is the kilt, which just makes it very different to a lot of his more modern figures that, you know, a lot of them are quite similar. We've got the braces on his arms, which are a little bit different. They're very interesting. We've got the double jointed elbows, of course, which is a massive upgrade that this has compared to any of the other figures. I was a little bit concerned when I first received this figure in the post that the eyes weren't quite printed quite right. And if I'm completely honest, I don't think they are. I think there is a little bit of... I think they're a little bit high. I think they're on his eyelid rather than covering his whole eye. You know, after a bit of inspection at the time, I thought I was maybe just crazy. But now that I'm looking at it like this, if I could get the angle with the light on it there without distorting his face, that would be great. I think they are a little bit high there. But it could just be because he's kind of squinting as well, I suppose. From a distance like this, you cannot see it. So that's totally fine. Like, I can't complain with that. So, as always, let's get into the joint check. The head, first of all, a very well sculpted head. There's actually a bit of paint loss on the beard, which kind of sucks, but that's okay, I guess. The head joint is nice and stiff. Can't argue with that. There's no problem there at all. This shoulder is incredibly stiff, and I saw this said about a lot of figures, that a lot of the early double jointed elbow figures, that they had one stiff shoulder. This goes better. This is a bit better than the MVP that I opened way back at the start of the year, but it's still not great. But stiff joints are better than loose joints, which that is pretty loose. And the elbow, that's about where you want it, and the hand is pretty good for an interchangeable hand. But yeah, we've lost a bit of motion there in that shoulder. I don't know if that's something where it'll have been fixed in the Top Picks version, because I can't say, as few elites as I've opened recently, I can't say that I've noticed it still as an issue. In terms of figures with the double jointed elbows, I feel like I haven't heard anyone say that they always have like one stiff shoulder in quite a while. So maybe they've fixed whatever it was. Maybe the Top Picks version is fixed, but who knows. Anyway, we're going to go for the ab joint next. That looks nice and tight. A little bit loose at the top there, like, but then doesn't really need to go that far out, does it? Like, if we just keep him sat in that sort of range, that's absolutely fine. We'll do waisty. Waisty's okay. Kilt is removable at the back, so we'll get around to that in a second. But actually, that fits together really well. Like, in terms of this kind of rubber setup where we've got the two notches and it kind of just clips together, that's actually staying on him really well. Obviously, a lot of these things, they just pop out. We'll get to his other arm now. That arm's actually really stiff as well, so I'll eat my words. Actually, both shoulders are quite stiff on this. As you can see, we've lost a bit of motion there as well. Like, we can't quite get the whole range there. I'm scared of snapping that out if I go too far, so that's not ideal. There we go again with the very, very spinny bicep. The elbow is very loose there. That's a very, very loose elbow. And the wrist is okay. It's kind of ironic. So we'll take the kilt off. Let's just have a quick last minute admiration of the kilt. And then we'll pop it off and hopefully it'll go back on just as tight as it originally was. So here is the reveal. So, we can see the decals on his trunks there, but because they're black crosses, it kind of looks from a distance like it's just been scraped off. We got obviously the little silver circles around him as well. Just completely popping into my head here, he looks a lot taller with the kilt off. So let's try some leg joints. So, yeah, we seem okay there. I don't turn these to the side anymore in the videos because you never actually use that articulation. Obviously, we've got the interesting knee pads with the Claymore Drew McIntyre logo on. Very interesting. The toes are bendable there, so that's good because we've had a few figures where the toes just don't go. And that leg is pretty good as well. Yeah, I've got no problems with the legs there. All of the toes work. All of the legs work. My only problem is that I just know from experience that when you get tall figures like this, where the legs are quite skinny, the joints at the top can go very loose very quickly. My Scott Hall is a good example of that. His joints just went very, very quickly. We're going to put the kilt back on and see if that maintains the stiffness that it once had when it was originally on. First of all, these things don't work too well because most of the time you can't actually get it lined up properly. This is going to make me regret taking it off at all in the first place. But here we go anyway. Alright, a little bit of effort, but get that bottom tab back in. That might have to do. It's a very aesthetically pleasing figure. I think as much as I'm a guy who picks these up in theory to do stop motion animations with, this is one I would happily pick up to sit on my shelf. The head is great. The kilt looks really good. We've got the braces. We've got the knee pads as well, of course. And obviously we went through the decal on the trunks. And in terms of accessories, we've obviously got the open hands on Drew right now. We've also got some grip hands as interchangeable options. Now, you know me, guys, I like having these open hands. If he just had fists and slap hands, I would be pretty disappointed. But ironically, it's probably not going to be picking up very many objects as opposed to some other figures I've criticised for their hand options in the past. And of course, the main thing that they are useful for is his other accessory, which is really, really cool. We've got Angela the Claymore. And the detail on her is very, very good. If we can get it to focus in. So you can see there the paintwork, the detail, the kind of engravings on Angela there. And then we've got the other side there. My only concern with accessories like this is that obviously you've got kids that are dumb enough to have people stabbing each other in hardcore matches. So, yeah. The hilt is a little bit wide for the hand, but it does go on. Let's just get him action posed with this for just one time. It's about the only way you can pose him with both hands on his sword. Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. I guess. Otherwise, leaning over now. There we go. I mean, as Drew McIntyre has said himself, the whole thing is ridiculous anyway because a Claymore is a two-handed sword, but I digress. Oh, wait, hold on. Ah, we got it. Or at least that's about the best you can do in terms of posing it like that, really. Like, I mean, you can get it more straight, but you can't get it more in both hands. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe if he's, when he's stabbing it down, maybe. I don't know, whatever. This video has gone on long enough. I need to leave you guys alone. I need to let you guys go. So, all in all, like I say, in terms of a review for this figure, as you guys have heard throughout this video, I think this is a really, really awesome figure. And I think it's very interesting to look at regardless. Of course, in this particular version, we've got a few little issues. There's a few loose joints. The eyes are maybe a bit questionable. And the beard has a little bit of paint missing. But ultimately, it's not really a big deal. I can completely live with this. And like I say, we got this from Amazon Warehouse for about £14. As I always like to round these figure openings off with, I wanted to talk about where Drew McIntyre is going in my figure fed. As I've mentioned a few times, Drew McIntyre is more of a comedy character for me. He's still in a three-man band kind of gimmick. in my Fed rather than being like world champion sort of stuff. So as much as that might happen one day, right now I'm very happy to stick with the, in this instance, 2-man band gimmick with Heath and Drew. It's certainly possible I might finally bring in the third man, but ultimately, you know, this figure itself is probably not going to get used in the Fed purely because kind of like the younger Drew head, for the kind of innocence that the Heath and Drew gimmick is supposed to sort of bring upon, like the wholesome kind of just best friends, kind of completely oblivious to what's going on gimmick. I think it just fits it better. But yeah, my point is that's basically what's going to happen, and this guy is basically just going to sit on my shelf looking cool, I think. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. I have way more NWO openings already out and way more to go. I was almost at 90 when I made this video. It's definitely going to hit 90 at some stage, but hopefully we can just keep getting the motivation to do these openings now and then and eventually whittle that number down. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye, and do enjoy Clash at the Castle. I really hope it's a good show. I still have my doubts, but I really do hope it is a good show, and soon enough we'll find out. So, see you guys later.